Elihu Reimer officially pinned.
Royal Virgin Islands Police Force appeals to the public to solve local murders.
Hodge in, Donovan out as Public Works Department head.
Alton Bertie is live in studio to discuss the new iPhone updates.
CEO Georges refutes claims by Dr. Hesketh Vanterpool.
And the impeachment inquiry against President Donald Trump makes headway. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
The Mighty Sparrow.
Chocolate City, Tortola's BVI. I'm coming to you. You ready? November 16, 2019. It's Tico's 50th anniversary and celebrating Tico Calypso. You hear me? A community Calypso fundraiser. I can't wait to see. It's going to be fantastico.
Welcome everybody. It's Friday, November 1st, 2019. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Javon Wilson. A rainy Friday, that is.
It's a wet Friday in the BVI, but nevertheless, still beautiful. Let's get right into it. Topping our newscast today, after being named in last year's Queen's Birthday Honors, Mr. Elihu Reimer, BEM, was formally pinned with the British Empire Medal during an investiture ceremony at his home on Thursday morning. His Excellency the Governor Augustus Jaspert explained during the ceremony that the honor is a noble one and is given for excellence in public service. Governor Jaspert said, across the realms of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II to this day, the Queen's Birthday and the New Year's honors remain the principal order of chivalry in our modern democracy. In easier terms, modern-day knights. The governor offered a highlight reel of the life and career of Mr. Reimer, BEM, thus for stating that he began his career as a teacher and later rose through the ranks of public service to become a permanent secretary. Mr. Reimer, BEM, had also many successful entrepreneurial endeavors, including the Josiah's Bay Cottages, BVI Development Consultants, and Best Vacations Imaginable. In addition to the professional accomplishments, Mr. Reimer served on boards and committees including the BVI Tourist Board and the board at the H. Laverty Stout Community College. Mr. Reimer stood with his wife, Mrs. Patricia Todman Reimer, along with other supporters, including Miss Lynette Harrigan, to receive the medal on his lapel from Governor Jaspert. It is truly my great pleasure to bestow upon Mr. Reimer the British Empire Medal, Governor Jaspert said. Mrs. Reimer responded on her husband's behalf and expressed that they were both delighted to see him honored. She said, I think Elihu is now extremely proud, but I think he also feels it's about time that he was recognized for his service. Mrs. Reimer went on to say that her husband's service comes from the deep love he has for the territory. His exemplifies a special kind of pride and love for his community, she said, adding, the British Virgin Islands is really blessed, a really blessed country to have so many people of excellence willing to contribute to its continued development. But I do think that Elihu is particularly dedicated in trying to make sure his country moves forward in the best possible way. In addition to family and friends, the ceremony was also attended by local dignitaries, including Acting Premier Honorable Kai Reimer, Minister of Health and Social Development, the Honorable Carvin Malone, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth Affairs, Fisheries, and Agriculture, Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, and Deputy Governor, Mr. David Archer Jr. Honor definitely well deserving. Anyone that knows the Virgin Islands, they know the name Elihu Reimer, very prominent force, very vocal as it pertains to anything and everything Virgin Islands. So congratulations.
And he definitely made his contributions. We can see there in the private as well as the public sector. So I'm really glad to see him getting his flowers while he's alive, which is a big deal in this day and age. Moving right along, 1 year after the gruesome murders of Mr. Tyrone Thomas and Kareem Etienne, an attempted murder of Idrisia Richards, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force is still appealing to the general public in hope that witnesses can come forward to help with the unsolved murders of these two young men. Now, Ron, these murders really rocked the Virgin Islands just a year ago. The first occurred just around 4 a.m. On Monday, October 22nd, 2018, it was reported that Tyrone Thomas and Idrisia Richards, you can see the vehicle on the screen right now, they were traveling in that maroon-colored four-door Dodge 1500 within the Brady Gut area of Eastern Tortola when they came under gunfire. Idrisia Richards sustained serious life-changing injuries, while Tyrone Thomas was fatally wounded and, of course, would eventually die at the scene of the incident. Now, before the territory could even recover from the terrors of that homicide, another assassination. This time around, the victim being Mr. Kareem Etienne, who was shot in the comfort of his bedroom just around 9:30 in the presence of children. While at his Foy Hill address, Kareem also lost his life at the scene of the incident. Now, Ron, the limited details surrounding these stories really shows, or they're highly suspicious, the nature of them. And I think even more, that's the reason why the police force is imploring the public to speak up. Because ever since then, the Major Crime Investigations team has been working tirelessly for over a year, trying to identify those involved in the two, what the police claims is two unrelated murders and an attempted murder. The senior investigating officer of the Major Crime Investigations team, Detective Inspector Vernon LaRoque, is still hopeful that a member of the public can help the police identify, of course, those who are responsible for the sabotage, the shootings, and commence the closure process for the grieving families. Anyone with information relating to these crimes are urged to contact Detective Vernon LaRoque directly on the number 368-9809. Again, that number is 368-9809, or via the Major Crime Investigation Team on 368-5682, where all information will be treated with discretion and confidentiality will be reassured.
Jovan, it's definitely heart-wrenching for the families to not have any closure. So while the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force seeks to bring some end and closure to it, we definitely again appeal to the general public to, be our brother's keeper.
Absolutely.
And if you have anything that could contribute, please do so.
And while in the BVI, we have our qualms, and I should say small qualms, because, when we compare ourselves to the rest of the region, closest St. Croix and those U.S. Virgin Islands, and of course the rest of the extended region, crime in the BVI is not such a big thing.
And we want to keep it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
When things like this happen, it really rocks the entire territory. And it's for that reason we want to keep it under control. So again, we are urging persons, anything that you know, please contact the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Still ahead, Hodge in and Donovan out as the Public Works Department head, and we are sitting down with iPhone fanatic, Mr. Alton Bertie, to talk all things iPhone. These and more when 284 News returns.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.
Viewers, welcome back. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transportation, Works and Utilities, Mr. Ronald F. Smith Berkeley, recently announced at a staff meeting that former Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transportation, Works and Utilities, Mr. Jeremy W. Hodge, will now be the Acting Director of the Public Works Department, replacing G. Navarro Donovan with immediate effect. No time frame was given to Mr. Hodge's appointment, but the appointment did go through the Public Service Commission, the government's local body responsible for making recommendations for heads of department, especially senior level appointments to government posts. Navarro Donovan will revert back to his original job as one of the 3 deputy directors of the Public Works Department. And now on to a very interesting interview with the one and only Mr. Alton Bertie. Jovan, take it away.
Thank you so much, Ron. Now, Mr. Alton Bertie, first of all, welcome to 284 Media Studios.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So for as long as I've known you, Alton, everybody knows you're like the iPhone fanatic of the BVI.
Apparently.
Hands down. But I'm really interested to know, what is it about the Apple brand that you love so much?
It is, firstly, it's all about, a brand is a promise delivered. So I love the quality of Apple products. I like how they're very well integrated. I do music and other media, and I mean, obviously, if you're doing that kind of stuff, Apple is the best choice to go. So that's why I believe in them.
All right, so on October 28th, Apple released the iOS 13.2, and of course, one of the updates that everyone is raving about, very enthusiastic about, is the emojis, among many others. But let's get into that first. Why is that such a big deal?
Emojis, apparently it's a very important thing nowadays in terms of communication. Apple, with these updates, they try to be very inclusive so that no one feels left out. And emoji is a way that we express ourselves in our daily lives. So they included stuff like disabilities. So you have like the CNI dog, the guy walking with the cane, wheelchair, all of that kind of stuff. And different types of food like onions and things that you would think that is there. So like, I know you like to cook and do your meals, so you now have the emojis to express that.
Which I really like, and I like the gender equality emojis as well as the different shades of like skin tones and so on.
They spent some time redesigning some of the older ones too, so they could be better represented.
I agree with that. Well, that's a good move for Apple, for sure. Just about over a month ago, I would think, the iPhone 11 collection was launched right after I repurchased my XS Max, which is very unfortunate. You should have
consulted me on that.
Right, you did say that. But this is a great collection. I mean, everybody's been raving about the slow feed. They've been raving about the wide-angle camera and all of that. Why should we get an iPhone 11?
It is a very major change internally, especially. It's a lot faster. Apple has always been in front in regards to processors. They have been doing some incredible stuff with the processors too, especially in regards to the camera. They haven't really changed the camera hardware per se, except for the addition of the wide-angle, ultra-wide-angle lens, which is awesome. But the things that are
Have you tested it?
I love it. I love it. I did a shoot for a villa, well, a few villas in Virgin Gorda the other day, and I use that most of the time. It's really incredible.
He gets to get all the cool stuff, do all the cool stuff.
So they use the processor to enhance the camera in so many different ways. 13.2 also saw the inclusion of Deep Fusion, which handles details very, it's just unbelievable in low light. And then there's also night mode, so that when it's really dark, you could actually see. And these things are just mind-blowing.
It makes a big deal in this day and age that we live in. We're in a technological era. Everybody's on their phones. And everybody loves taking pictures. And, you know, persons don't want to necessarily go hire a photographer. They want to be able to do that
you also don't want to have to think about it. So you have to be like, oh, this setting and I have to change this. No, Apple has this way of integrating things so that technology doesn't get in the way.
That internal intelligence.
Exactly. This came from Steve Jobs. Technology should not get in the way.
Awesome. Well, viewers, if you're yet to see what the iPhone Pro collection looks like, we have a video to show you, why you should get one. Look. Well, if that wasn't enough to convince you to get into the iPhone 11 collection, I keep saying iPhone Pro, but it's iPhone 11, iPhone Pro, and the Pro Max.
Yes.
Awesome. On October 28th, the AirPods Pro also dropped. What is so pro about these new AirPods?
Well, let me step back a bit. The AirPods, I think they were a runaway hit that even Apple was unexpected because they were sold out for a while.
Okay.
So when you go anywhere, including here in the BVI, you see people always wearing AirPods.
Except me.
Yeah, I use the Power Beats Pro now because I work out a lot. But the AirPods Pro fixes some of that issues where you have the different tip, so it fits within your ears, and it actually does a test to see, like a sound test, to make sure that you're using the right tip.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's Apple again. And then you have noise canceling.
I was just going to get into that. That's very interesting.
Which is a really big feature. Like if you're on a plane or around a noisy environment, they're really handy.
And I think they're pretty affordable.
They are. Comparatively, yeah, they really are.
All right. Well, viewers, the iPhone 11 collection is now available at all CCT flagship stores right here in the British Virgin Islands. You do not need to go online to order your phones. They're available right here. I'm sure soon enough, the AirPods Pro as well, because I know they just dropped just a few days ago.
They're very hot items.
Right. So eventually we will have those at the flagship stores as well. So be sure to go out and grab your products, your iPhone products, and of course do your iOS 13.2 update, which syncs all of these things, correct?
Yes. It's just, it brings everything together.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
The pleasure is mine.
More news ahead for you right after this commercial break.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals. Viewers, welcome back. Chief Executive Officer of the BVI Health Services Authority, Dr. Ronald Georges, said during a radio interview on Monday that he is not aware of any effort to discourage patients from utilizing the cath lab that is located at the Bougainvillea Clinic, as was stated by Medical Director of the clinic, Dr. Hesketh Vancepool, at a recent celebratory event held to commemorate 5 years of the cardiac cath lab in the territory. We would remember Dr. Vancepool's claims, which were first and accurately reported by our newsroom. Georges, however, speaking on a local radio program, explained that the BVI Health Services Authority has an arrangement with another entity to provide cardiology services and that this is usually an option for patients. The CEO explained that Medical Services BVI Incorporated has a contract with the BVI Health Services Authority to provide cardiology services. They went through the process of developing their services. At this time, they have a clinic and they have visiting cardiologists who see patients at the BVI Health Services Authority. I suspect that is what Dr. Vancepool is referring to. As it relates to Dr. Vancepool's claims that persons walk around the BVI Health Services Authority discouraging people, Dr. Georges said that he is unaware. He said, "I cannot comment on them being mercenaries or walking up and down and charging people exorbitant rates. I can't really comment on that. What I can say is that the company does have visiting cardiologists that provide cardiology services. They don't have a cath lab at the BVI Health Services Authority, and they have arrangements with some overseas providers to whom they refer patients. Further, Dr. Georges noted that the National Health Services, the National Health Insurance, NHI, is usually the organization that decides where patients go, not the BVI Health Services Authority. And he also noted that the cost is not always the deciding factor.
And on the international scene, U.S. Congress just passed rules for impeaching President Donald Trump. The scene that played out yesterday on the House floor is serious, severe, and historically unusual. Only 3 presidents have ever faced this kind of impeachment probe vote before, only 2 who have actually been impeached, and only 1 of them was an elected president. So what Congress did yesterday is rare by any measure and forever marks Donald Trump's presidency, but more importantly, scores a clear win for Speaker Pelosi, who had been very cautious about this impeachment at every step of the debate, lining up her evidence and first uniting her entire caucus before stepping out to preside over this vote and even casting her own vote, which is, as we all know, very rare for a sitting speaker. Now, after a vote of 232 to 196, Pelosi announced, and I quote, "The resolution is adopted without objection. The motion to reconsider is laid upon the table." So, Ron, this is a very heavy statement that Pelosi made, not just, one of the verbal rebukes we've seen on President Donald Trump, which we've seen a lot of in the past. That this is very serious and very powerful and really redefines a set of public rules for probing whether President Donald Trump abused his foreign policy powers, which in itself shows that they're closer to impeaching President Trump than they've ever been in the past since he took office. Now, all of this stems from a controversial phone call that Trump made to Ukraine's leader that revealed that he seized monies already appropriated by law and tried to exploit Ukraine by withholding the monies until they look into his new political opponent, which happens to be Mr. Joe Biden. Now, as a result of this, a lot was revealed. Firstly, the entire scope of the probe will change. Public interviews, public battles over what this president did and whether if he did do something, whether it will be considered a high crime. So we can expect a lot of bombshells going forward. Now, secondly, yesterday showed exactly where our politicians stand.
Indeed.
The Republicans, as expected, are even more united in support of President Trump, with even 2 Democrats crossing the aisle, Ron. And in the past, with the past impeachment inquiries we've seen, especially the one against Clinton, even that one you saw Democrats crossing the floor to vote against the speaker. But in this case, the Republicans are definitely holding strong. The big question remains, is it okay for a president to do stuff like this? And if it is not, what is Congress going to do about it? So, Ron, this is
a big story. Yes.
History in the making. Well, yes, impeachment probes again have been made to politicians in the past. I don't think any of them really compares to this, being that everything will be now magnified under a microscope for not only Congress and Washington, but for the rest of the world to judge. I think this is a big deal. This is a big deal. And
no doubt about it. I agree with you.
Serious trouble for President Donald Trump.
Yeah, we'll see what becomes of it.
Definitely we will, but viewers will be bringing you all the updates. Again, it will be available for the world to see, look at, judge, and
come to your own conclusions.
If he is indeed a crook, like many of them say, it will be on them, of course, to decide come elections 2020.
Yes, well, we have lots going on. Before we go, Jovan, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the Festival of the Arts takes place tomorrow, Saturday, the 2nd at the Queen Elizabeth Park. That's from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. In addition to that, don't miss the Farmers Market, which is going to be held at the Craft Alive parking lot early tomorrow morning. So lots going on this weekend. We do wish you a safe and enjoyable weekend.
And that is it for today's News Roundup. Be sure to like us on Facebook at 284 Media and 284 BVI, on Instagram as well as Twitter. I'm Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. Be sure to tune in on Monday as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news. It's Friday, guys. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Yeah.
What are you really running for, boss? You could have bust a hole in your head. But see you with the competition. Which means you're about to bust a hole in your pocket.
I could get my modem, please.
Anyhow, I got something huge to show you.
I gotta be sick in your head.
Well, hold on, string bean. Tina kind of party. Check this. That's LTE1 for just about everyone. LTE2 for you and your boo. And hold on. Bam! Rate so low, you feel like you're free. That's LTE3 for you and the whole family.
Save even more on your internet with new pricing from CCT. Get LTE 2 now for only $149. Get LTE 3 for the new low price of $189. All packages are unlimited, so there's no overage charge. You don't have to run into Chaz for savings. Just stop by our store and sign up today. Come on over to CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello?
Wait, you're the launch at camp? You don't say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.